We've talked about mathematical operations in the past, but now we're going to talk about some more mathematical library functions, specifically to deal with randoms. First, all mathematical functions require this preprocessor directive with their number sign include, not C standard library, we'll come back to that soon, but include CMath. CMath is number one what we must include. Know that there are many functional libraries that we can use. Today, we're going to be focusing on random numbers. They're used a lot in games, so think of randomly rolling a dice, programs that shuffle cards, simulation programs to randomly decide how something is going to behave. So this also leads into statistical programs that use this kind of data for analytics, and computer security, which would encrypt data. In C++, we can use the rand with parentheses to generate random numbers. So I'm going to have this print out right here. That's going to be this output. You can see it generated a random number and it stored it in Y. To do this though, it's going to require the hashtag include C standard library, which is what I highlighted in the first part and I said we would come back to. We have now come back to it. The numbers produced by this rand with parentheses are pseudo-random, so the function uses an algorithm that produces the same sequence of numbers every time the program is repeated on our system. This random will always be the same. Now, even though below hand, right here, I've printed out some more random numbers, like these two random numbers. If you noticed, I also ran this multiple times, and we get the exact same output. And that's because on the system that we use, it's going to stay the same random number that it generates. To further go into this and randomize the results of random, we must use the srand function, and it's going to take us down here. This creates unique seed values, allowing random to generate a different sequence of random numbers every time that it is called. A common practice for getting seed values is to use the time function. It requires the preprocessor directive number sign include ctime. So we have right here. So it's a little bit easier to remember than C standard library. This one looks kind of like gibberish if you don't know what you're typing. So I have this time 0 and I set it equal to the unsigned seed and it gets the system time S standard seed, and the seed is the random number generator. So with that in mind, we can see that with these prints right here, and right here, they all print out different values, and that's because we have our seed right here generated at the time, the current time, so it's always going to give us a random number. That's if you want it to be super random. Now, lastly, let's talk about parameters. What if you want to limit the scope of this? You want it to only run between a certain parameter, like I said. Well, you can do this. So you have a min value and a max value. These can be any values you want. And then this is kind of the code format for it. I fill it in, but you can just replace max value and min value with whatever your heart desires. For this, we're doing 1 in 100. We're going to have our random right here with parentheses inside of parentheses. The modulo is going to separate the rand from our max value minus the min value plus 1. And what this is doing is setting our max range. So we have 100 minus our min value. So that's going to give us 99 here. If we want it to be inclusive, that's why we add 1. If you want it to just go up to and not include, you'd leave the 1 out, because just 100 minus 1 would be 99, not including 100. And then after this, you would append its, I know it says min value, but it's actually the starting value. And that's pretty much going to be it. So we've gone over parameters, ctime, srand, and the basic random numbers. If you have any questions on randoms, you can always leave them in the comments below. And if you want more C++, you could check below the like button. There's a playlist with a bunch of these. Bye!